We begin in 1999, and it was a rough one for many reasons as the Scream Eagles battled the Drummondville Voltigeurs at Center 200, but they would lose by a score of 7-1. The two teams combining for 368 penalty minutes in a game that featured 10 fights. Leading the way for Drummondville, Miroslav Zalasek and Simon Legace-Dag each had 2 goals and an assist, and a goal and 2 assists for Daniel Hudgen and Frederick Fauché. Rough night for David St. Germain as he was pulled after allowing 6 goals on 30 shots. The lone Screaming Eagles goal in this game scored by Guillaume Lefebvre. 2 assist nights for Jonathan Waugh, Zoltan Batovsky, and Julian DeRossi of the Volts as well. Hunter Lahash dropped the gloves in this game against Jonathan St. Louis. Sandro Sabroka of the Eagles fighting twice against Hudgen and David Lassard. JF Demers of Cape Breton fighting Didier Bochete. Jerome Marois of the Eagles fighting with Simon Poirier, and then it evolved into a line brawl in the third period. Trevor Ettinger, Hunter Lahash, Matthew Dumas, Charles Gauthier, and Maxime Lassard all dropping the gloves for Cape Breton. Pierre-Luc Imond, a future Screaming Eagle, in the Drummondville lineup for this game. In the year 2002, the Screaming Eagles fell on home ice by a score of 5-2 to the Halifax Mooseheads. Halifax out shooting Cape Breton 44-20 in this game. Thatcher Bell and Derek Kent, as well as Michael Couch, all with 2-point nights for the Mooseheads. F.P. Gannett, who would be traded to Cape Breton before going back to Halifax the following year, scored in this game for the Mooseheads. Michael DeLorenzo had a rough start in nets for Halifax as he allowed 2 goals on 3 shots, but the Screaming Eagles obviously come up short anyway. Steve Villeneuve with a goal for Cape Breton. He would be dealt to Halifax later in the year and, of course, would come back to Cape Breton. Stuart McRae with an assist in this game and George Davis with an assist. They would go with Villeneuve to Halifax later in the season. Samuel Ballon scoring for Cape Breton as well in this game, his first career goal. Tough loss in the year 2004 as the Eagles fell 3-0 on home ice to Center 200. The effort was appreciated, though, as the Eagles were applauded by their fans in this game. They outshot the Sags by a count of 31-20, but Alex Vincent makes 31 saves in the shutout. Cape Breton native Brent McSween had an assist in this game for the Saguenayens. In 2006, the Screaming Eagles were victorious 4-3 in Lewiston, foreshadowing of a strong rivalry the two teams would have this season. Paul McElveen leading the way for Cape Breton with 2 goals, Andre Pavelek making 30 saves in the win. Jonathan Bernier takes the loss, allowing 3 goals on 20 shots. Brad Gallant of Cape Breton fighting with Lewiston tough guy Tristan Manson. Charlie Penns of the Eagles dropping the gloves with Danik Hudon-Paget. In 2007, the Eagles were victorious 7-3 over the Bathurst T10 at Center 200. Leading the way was Nick McNeil with 3 goals and an assist, 2 goals and 2 assists for Chris Culligan, while Joey Haddad chipped in 3 assists. There were also 2-point nights from Dean Ouellette and Francis Mayer. Dominic Fontaine and Nicholas Chouinard of the Eagles both fighting in this game. Alex Gunnell of Cape Breton fighting as well against Samuel Grenache. Olivier Roy allowed 3 goals in this game, and the first goal that he allowed ended his shutout streak at 167 minutes and 51 seconds, which at the time was the 4th longest in Q history. For the Titan, Thomas Savoda had a goal and an assist, and Jordan Clendenning, who will be traded to Cape Breton about a month later, had an assist for Bathurst. In 2010, the Gatineau Olympique were victorious on home ice over the Screaming Eagles by a score of 4-1. Future Ottawa Senator Jean-Gabriel Pageau had a goal and an assist for the Olympique. William Cochran had the lone goal for the Screaming Eagles. It was the first of his QMJHL career. In 2012, the Eagles were victorious 5-3 in Val-d'Or, and Alex Lavoie led the way with 2 goals and 2 assists. There was a goal and an assist by Kyle Farrell, Michael Clark, and William Carrier. Alex Bureau and nets making 32 saves. Rough night for Francois Tremblay of the Foreurs as he allowed 4 goals on 19 shots. Vincent Dunn with 2 goals in the loss for the Foreur. Tim Seamard scoring in this game, the first goal of his QMJHL career for the Foreur. He would be later moved to the Screaming Eagles. Marc-Andre Dumont was actually the head coach of the Foreur in this game. Scheduling oddity, in spite of the fact they were not in the same division, the two teams would play 3 games in a row against each other. In 2013, the Eagles fell by a score of 3-1 in Moncton to the Wildcats. Christophe Lalonde leading the way with 2 goals and 2 assists for Ivan Barbashev. Julian Pelche, the lone goal scorer for Cape Breton. Alex Dubois picks up the win in nets for Moncton, making 34 saves. And that is this day in Screaming Eagles history.